I'm Douglas Grummins, and today I want to talk about death. What brought this on was this morning I was driving to work, and I have quite a long commute driving into Houston. And I was driving, drinking my soda and just enjoying the morning radio, and my vision started getting fuzzy. And my heart started feeling irregular, and I felt very lightheaded, like I was going to pass out. And it gave me a little bit of scare. And, I thought about this throughout the day, and this little scare made me think about all the things that I want to share with you guys before it's too late, before I'm gone. I wanted to, put on to paper or audio recording or visual, something to express some things that have happened in my life that most people would probably think I'm totally wacko crazy for even mentioning, but regardless of it, a lot of things have happened, and I want to share these things with you guys. One of my favorite things to do while I'm driving to work or coming home from work is to listen to podcasts. And some of my favorites are like Sam Harris and Christopher Hitchens. These guys are brilliant people, brilliant scientists, scientific minds, brilliant Western minds, but they're all atheists. And I really enjoy listening to them. I mean, I get a chuckle out of them a little bit because my mind is more of an Eastern mind. Even though I was born in the West, I have an Eastern mind. So let me share a few words about the Eastern and Western mind from a mystic named Osho. In his book, The Psychology of the Esoteric, Osho was asked, will the Western mind have to expand as the Eastern mind has? And Osho responds, the Western mind can only succeed as far as science is concerned, but it cannot succeed in religious consciousness. Whenever a religious mind is born, even in the West, it is Eastern. In Eckhart, in Bohème, the very quality of the mind is Eastern. And whenever a scientific mind is born in the East, it is bound to be Western. East and West are not geographical. Western means Aristotelian, and Eastern means non-Aristotelian. West means equilibrium, and East means no equilibrium. West means the rational, and East means the irrational. Tertullian was one of the most Eastern minds in the West. He said, I believe in God because it is impossible to believe. I believe in God because it is absurd. This is the basic Eastern attitude. Because it is absurd, no one can say this in the West. In the West, they say that you should believe something only when it is rational. Otherwise, it is just a belief, a superstition. Eckhart, too, is an Eastern mind. He says, if you believe in the possible, it is no belief. If you believe in the argument, it is not religion. These are parts of science. Only if you believe in the absurd does something that is beyond mind come to you. This concept is not Western. It belongs to the East. Confucius, on the other hand, is a Western mind. Those in the West can understand Confucius, but they can never understand Lao Tzu. And Lao Tzu says you are a fool because you are only rational. To be rational, reasonable, is not enough. The irrational must have its own corner to existence. Only if a person is both rational and irrational is he reasonable. A totally rational person can never be reasonable. A reason has its own dark corner of irrationality. A child is born in a dark womb. A flower is born in the dark. In the underground roots, the dark must not be denied. It is the base. It is the most significant, the most life-giving thing. The Western mind has something to contribute to the world. It is science, not religion. The Eastern mind can contribute only religion, not technology or science. Science and religion are complementary. If we realize both their differences and their complementariness, then a better world culture can be born out of it. If one needs science, one should go to the West. But if the West creates any religion, it can never be more than theology. In the West, you give arguments to yourself to prove God. Arguments to prove God. It is inconceivable in the East. You cannot prove God. The very effort is meaningless. That which can be proven will never be God. It will be a scientific conclusion. In the East, we say that the divine is unprovable. When you are bored with your proofs, then jump into the experience itself. Jump into the divine itself. I myself grew up with a Western mind as a young lad, but just like many other young lads, I was always interested in the ways of the East. And then I started studying martial arts and, stayed with martial art training for quite a while. And that led to meditation. And meditation led to me having an Eastern mind, or Eastern no mind, if you want to say it. It all depends on which way you want to look at it, because they're both true. And in order to have in order to be able to jump into the divine, then you have to create a space, and that space is through no mind, or thoughtlessness existence. This state of no mind, this thoughtless state of no mind, is the same as taking a seed and burying it deep down into the earth and giving it space to grow, to turn into a tree. So you, in a sense, by meditating, are creating that space in which God can blossom in you. The death of the seed is the beginning of enlightenment. You have to die, or at least parts of you have to die. The ego has to die. The old mind has to give way to the new mind. And when you become enlightened, you'll still think, you'll still have thoughts. The mind still works, but no longer is it the master. Now you are the master. You're in control of what the mind says and thinks, and you are now in control. Every single person that has gone through this experience, this enlightenment, this birth of the flower, the plant, and the death of the seed, has said that this is the ultimate death. All the deaths that you experienced before this were temporary, or not full. They were incomplete in a way, and enlightenment is the last death. Now, to be real and honest with you, no one, not a single soul, knows what happens, after death. And I say with all certainty that Jesus didn't know, nor did Buddha, nor did Bodhidharma or any other real mystic know, what happens after death. Now, there are things that could happen that give us clues to think, but there is no person coming, down from the heavens and saying, okay, this is what happens and this is what it's like here. These things just don't happen, because those things are beyond the known, and I don't think we'll ever really know. The greatest question is, do we survive death? Is there life after death? Now, I can say with total absolute certainty that yes, you do survive death. The soul survives death. And listening to mystics down through the ages, through all the studying I've done through the East and West, we don't know. You can't say there's proof. What I can share with you would be my experience, and it's my truth. I can't give you the answer to, is there life after death? This is something that you'll have to experience for yourself. And that experience can come through enlightenment. I know it's very consoling to think that, yes, you do survive death, to think that, if a child of yours dies, that they're in a good place. So again, with all certainty, I want to say that, yes, you do survive death, but I don't think you stick around very long. I think that, a day or two or something, you can stick around in this existence, still lingering around who you used to be or what you used to be, but nobody stays for long. I've heard mystics and read what mystics have said about people who die, who have never done any energy work or meditating, are instantly put into another womb and brought into another life through reincarnation. So they say that it's different for those that have meditated, or if you're a meditator and you've raised energy up into the different higher chakras throughout the body. It takes you a little bit longer to find a womb, to find a suitable place where you can grow again. And for those of us who have raised our energy up through the bottom 4 chakras and into the heart, and have become enlightened, then they say there's no need for us to come back again. You fulfilled the purpose for what you were here for. The mystics all say that you have been here for millions of lives. You have lived for countless years, and over and over and over again. And each existence, maybe you raised some energy more and became a mystic. While others have never even gotten off of the ground floor. They just stay the same, staying in the lowest basic chakra, the physical. But I have to come out and say that I feel that reincarnation is the most compassionate way of thinking and explaining, what happens to the consciousness of the soul and what happens to the soul, continually through lifetime after lifetime. But I understand the other side, the Western atheist view, that they believe that absolutely nothing happens to you after death. And all I can say is that, yes, something happens in the immediate, but after that, because I've felt people leaving their bodies and experience things that I really don't like to talk about too much, but I've experienced things that have helped me to know a little bit more of the beyond than what most normal people know. To experience what I'm saying, all you have to do is be near a loved one who's dying. Just be near them and be in a meditative state of mind, be in open, receptive, and you can feel the energy leaving their bodies as they're dying. It's overwhelming how much they come into you. And in a sense, a lot of people say that's how people live on. The departed live on through the living. So in closing, I'd like to share that we are eternal. We have always existed. And I say this because I feel that's the most compassionate way that existence can be, that God can be, that existence itself is a continual process. And one other thought that I wanted to share was that every single mystic, Buddha, Jesus, Bodhidharma, all the famous mystics have also said that they would return. Even though it is impossible for them to return, every one of them have said that they would return out of compassion for the followers that are following them. I say it's impossible for an enlightened person to come back, but maybe that's only in this existence that we know, in this universe of 11 dimensions, that we exist, somewhere in one of the dimensions. But one day, this universe may not exist anymore. I mean, we don't know. It's hard to say that. Once something has a start, then it has to have an end. What has a beginning has an end. But if we take our thoughts to the next level, then we must know that if all the mystics have said that we are eternal, then the end of this universe will not mean the end of us. Eternal means forever, as we have always existed. And that's a really deep thing to take in and try to comprehend and understand that forever is a really long time. So my friends, take in these thoughts that I've shared with you and meditate over them. I'd love to hear your opinion sometime and have a good talk about those things of beyond but that we can do on a personal level. And again, anyway, thank you for joining me. You guys take care of each other, and stay cool.